Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. How's it going on this beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning? Um, Thank you guys for rocking with us, for joining the barbecue today for daily motivations for African American success, where we've been coming to you for 134 days now, right? So we've been rocking this barbecue consistently for 134 days. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Tammy, better known as the butterfly. I am self-made butterfly. That's a good way to say it. So what we're going to do today, or why we are here, is for quite a while. Um, I see that Brandon is trying to get in here. Not sure what's going on with all that, but I see that he's trying to get in, and I'll pull him in. But what I'm going to do for the sake of our time today, I'm going to go ahead and get us in or get us started, and then I will. The food is already prepared, so I will pull Brandon in once he is there and ready. So, daily motivations. What is this about? And if you have not gotten the book, please do so. Daily Motivations for African American Success. Dennis Kimbro is the author. He's also the author of Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. So, Daily Motivations for African American Success will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead you to the achievement of your true goals. In 365 short but powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro, author of Popular Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no. Right? That is so important, you guys. And when to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans, such as, but certainly not limited to, Malcolm X, Marion Wright Edelman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Gout, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year, you guys. But what it teaches you will last a lifetime. All right. Each affirmation in this valuable and thought provoking book takes only a few minutes to read, but it is worthy of more time for contemplation. And that is from Black Enterprise. So I'm going to do a check here and see for some reason. All right, Brandon, I don't know if you can hear me, but you will need to do that on your end. Y'all know we just have so much going on up in here with this thing. But you know what that tells me? This food is good, right? It is good for us. Um, let's see here. I don't know if you can hear me, Brandon. I see you in the chat, but you'll have to maybe go back out and turn your camera on, reconnect your camera and mic. I know that Facebook has did some different things here, and I had to reconnect to StreamYard. So not sure if that's it, if you can hear me, but go ahead and try to reconnect using your camera. All right. So let's rock right into it. Good everything, Miss Brenda Davis. Good everything to you. All right. So let's rock it. Let's rock it. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I don't want to keep you guys this morning. I don't want to deal with the technology. I feel certain Brandon will get it worked out. All right. So June 13th, and let's pull our banners. June 13th, day 134. It always throws me off. I'm so glad when we do catch up and our days are the same as the dates. I know that we did catch up and then we got off again just because the way the days run with the 31 days, 30, 28, and all of that. So today's topic extra, extra. Read all about it. I'm going to go ahead and get our quote out as well so that I won't have to fumble back and do that. And I'm going to make this one just scroll for now so that you guys can see it. All right. So today's quote comes from Prince, singer, songwriter, and producer. Prince says, sometimes it takes years for a person to become successful overnight or to become a success overnight, right? Sometimes it takes years for a person to become an overnight success, right? Prince. Did y'all feel that? Did you get it? It takes years to become an overnight success. Just overnight. So you can wake up and all of the race that you've ran, you crossed the finish line, but it's a different kind of cross because you made it. You made it. So I'll give more on that here shortly. I'm going to take a quick minute, you guys, and see if it's something that I can help him do here. Let's see. Y'all, we got technology, so let's do this. Um, all right, so I don't know what to tell Brandon here, you guys, other than just I don't know, Brandon. We'll have to work that out because I can't stop and take care of that now. I would try coming in one more time and see if I can pull you in. Because I did see you there. I just didn't see your face. So usually when that happens, it's you're needing to, and I see that it seems like you've tried that, but I would refresh the page, maybe shut down the phone and start over. Okay. And if not, it's all good. Get some rest, do something with the kids, take one of the kids where they need to be this morning. So extra, extra, read all about it. The quote comes from Prince, and thank you guys. But again, it's live. We have to do what we have to do. Sometimes it takes years for a person to become an overnight success. That comes from our Prince, singer, songwriter, and producer. Like who needs introduction? Everybody knows who Prince is. I hope so, right? So let me go ahead and get going with it. Y'all, I'm not like Brandon. I need my camera. Housed within the Washington, there he is. There he is. Good be.
Good
What's
morning, Mama. How
happening
you
over
doing?
there?
I don't know. I
Look,
couldn't
I
get.
had brought out the flashlight and everything.
I don't know. I was. It wouldn't let me access my camera through my computer, so I had to. I went through the phone and just set it up that way. I tried for a minute too, but
Oh,
for some reason, yeah, it wouldn't let me go through my computer. I don't know why.
huh. I
Yeah,
was
it,
thinking
it
more
said
of
they
your
were.
phone, the computer. Did you mistakenly turn your camera thing off the computer? There's like on some
Mm-mm.
computers, there's a button that you can accidentally hit. No?
No, because it
Don't
said
worry
my,
about it.
my
Don't
camera.
worry about
It said my camera was on. So, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
it.
But how
Okay.
you doing,
All
Mama?
right. I'm doing
And
great.
everybody.
I'm doing great. I'm gonna let you. I've already, did our thing while we're here. You can just go ahead and read the passage.
Sounds good. Well, I missed y'all for that second. I like hearing somebody else read it. I heard you in the beginning, but I kept coming in and out trying to
Yeah,
get access. But
yeah,
thank you. So
yeah. So we have Miss Brenda in the chat with us, and Mike. And would you like to at least try to do Instagram?
good. I would if you guys don't mind. I'll just give me a quick second.
Yeah.
I'll get
Let's
that
rock it.
going.
Let's rock it.
I would love for them to have a chance to join in as well. Let's see. Let's see. Cool.
All right.
Let's see.
We appreciate y'all. It's like you show up at the barbecue and the food still on the stove. It's about got like that one last minute to let the seasonings soak in.
Ah,
Just count it as that. And you guys, it's funny because I'll watch, when I watch a news or something and they start to have the technical difficulties, I'll be like, see. If they can't get it right in corporate America with the NBCs and the MSNBC and all that, hey, everybody has it every now and then. So hey, gotta let it do what it do, but don't let it do you. The barbecue still is going on, food still in the oven, right, Brandon?
That's right. That's right. I feel like they be messing
Food
with me
still
though.
in the oven. Huh?
I said I feel like on me, but I be messing with them back.
It's all good.
Let's see. Here we go. All right, it's on the way to you.
All good. All right, so I'll let you go and if, let's see, let's give it just a minute here and do what we do. Y'all talk to us while you're out there waiting for us to get all this stuff on the table. It's ready. We just got to put it on the table. So tell us what your day was like yesterday. Yesterday was a really good one, I think. The stretch marks. Did you stretch things out of proportion? Right? Did you? Or did you even think about it, going through the day? How was your talk different? Was your talk different? Was your communication with yourself and others different? Um, did you talk about your problems, or did you just really understand that, hey, sometimes there just ain't nothing you can do. And if it ain't worth praying about, it ain't worth talking about, right?
I really
It
like
ain't
that
worth
that quote.
stretching things. Yeah, yeah. Because so often we do, y'all, we get caught up in what's going on um, around us rather than what's going on in us. So, Brandon, I just shot it back to you. And we'll get
All right.
them going and then we'll get started, you guys.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Oh, gosh.
All
All right.
right, it's up and going.
It's up and going. I see it over here. So, good morning to the people on Instagram or from Instagram.
Give them some. While I'm reading, they'll probably be joining in. Cool, cool. Well, guys, we're gonna go ahead and jump into it on this June 13th, right? June
Yep.
13th,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a short one today. It's a
Yeah.
short one today. It's titled "Extra Extra." Read all about it. I think I remember this one. And the quote comes from Prince, none other than Prince, the singer, songwriter, and producer, and musical genius. Prince knew how to play, I don't know, 20, 30 different instruments, maybe a lot of instruments. He was a genius.
Oh, wow.
Um, but he said, sometimes it takes years for a person to become an overnight success. Sometimes it's years for a person to become an overnight success. Housed within the Washington Post building, which towers like a beacon above one of the busiest corners in Washington, D.C., a newspaper man sat at his desk. Just being in his office again, hearing the busy clack of the typewriters, feeling a part of the pulsating life of a great newspaper was sheer bliss. Carl Rowan was home. He was a civilian again after completing a successful tour of duty as a naval officer. He was writing again, and he was happy. In the Pacific, through all those lonely months, Rowan, Rowan had dreamed of returning home and of the blessings and comforts of life in the States. A person gets to know what he misses when he is away from it. Nowhere in the world people surrounded by so many opportunities and advantages. That is how he felt returning home. He took out a sheet of paper and penned his thoughts. If there were ever a time to remind people of their many blessings, this was it. He wrote, "The ingredients of success are quite simple. You are not obligated to succeed. You are only obligated to do your best. I guess this says it all." And the affirmation that we read 3 times, one for me, one for you, and one for the person you're going to invite to the barbecue, is my success is built on the ability to do better than good. My success is built on the ability to do better than good. Extra, extra, read all about it. The affirmation for the last time is my success is built on the ability to do better than good. Short, a little shallower today. What do you think about that, Mom? Or is it short but deep? What do you think? You're on mute, babe.
It's short, but it is deep. It reminds me of some of the things we talked about yesterday. Certainly, when you wake up and you feel like you only have 50% that day,
Mm-hmm.
then if your ability is to aim at that 50%, then you're good. You're better than good, right? So we, and all this learning that we have done and doing during this time and will do, we have to know that we're not going to be 100% every day. That's life, and that tires go flat, and life pops on us. People pop on us. But if you stay the race, remember yesterday as I talked about, we're all in this race of life. I didn't use the word life, I don't think yesterday, but about the race, and that everybody starts at a different time. Maybe it's some of you that are right there when that gun goes off and everybody starts, but the shot that's shooting towards you is different things. Same race, like, but different things that we're racing towards, and that we're coming from. And then put our perspectives in there, and our different upbringings, and so much so, extra read all about it, but you ain't got to be it, right? You ain't got to be all that stuff. And that if you keep running that race, sure, we have to pull over sometimes, right? You can't drive all the way from Tennessee to California without pulling over to gas up. You may run into some detours and so forth. But it takes, in most cases, it takes years for us to become an overnight success. And to me, that means, I use myself as an example again. Y'all, I remember the day where I really first felt something happening different, like a need for something to happen different. And you've heard the stories of my encounter with the wind that day. And I was a grown woman with the son in the 6th grade. And the wind spoke to me in such a way that day that I knew that my life could not stay as it had been internally, that I could not stay. And since then, now, I said Brandon was 6th grade. And since then, I'm telling you, it's been, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It's been so much. It's been so hard sometimes, right? There have been times where I cried when there was no water to come out of me. I was empty, empty. But today, my thoughts no longer hold me captive. They don't keep me captive. I take them captive. They don't call me, I call them in. No, no, no. And so on and so forth. So I'm saying that to say, one day you wake up and you realize you're so far from where you started that returning around is not an option. And that to me is an overnight success. And if you're willing to keep going, you will continue to have overnight successes. The problem is when we truly don't understand what it means to be successful. Because truth be told, some of you, if you would just stop and take inventory right now, you realize that you're successful. That one day you woke up and you became an overnight success, but you did not recognize it. You turned around. You turned around. So extra, read all about it. Read all about yourself. Read your story. Write your story. If no one reads it but you. And maybe tomorrow morning, you will wake up with the knowledge of, I've had favor all along. Some of the places I put myself in, I did not have to be. God didn't tell me to be there. Right? So define success for yourself. Define success. And if it's about things in the world, of the world, right? I don't know. Then you got to do some work. My opinion, you got to do some work to internalize that thing, turn that mirror inward. The ingredients of success, and I'll turn it over to Brandon, are quite simple. You are not obligated to succeed. You're only obligated to do your best. I guess that says it all. And what I think all is in this statement is you're only obligated to do your best. To do your best. Think about those 4 agreements that Brandon mentioned yesterday. If you started right there, there's one of them, and I can't remember which one, Brandon. You maybe could help me with this one. It says if you just start with this one, your life will significantly change. And I did post those out there yesterday, you guys. So, if you went home and you took a plate home, and hopefully you do every day, and you ate those leftovers that was on the plate, those 4 agreements, right? But if we just start there, do your best with yourself, with the people that you love. You do your best, and it gives them space and room to read all about it. And then maybe they will read all about it and see you being all about it, and they will want to do the same. So this one's deep, Brandon. It's deep, short, sweet, but deep. Over to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was. I appreciate your insights, Mom. One of the things that I noticed, the contrast between where he was in the past when he was on tour as a naval officer. This is, I'm
Mm,
reading from the passage, to where he was now, where he is now. In this book. So Carl Rowan had become a civilian again after serving time in the Navy, after being deployed for some number of months, and serving in a combative capacity, like serving for the military. And upon coming back, he was grateful. He was grateful. He came to a country where everyone's needs seemed to be met to a certain level. The quality of life was at a certain level. He was back in his office at the newspaper, at the Washington Post. He wasn't on the Navy ship in the middle of the sea, or he wasn't docked somewhere at a country that has some turmoil. Obviously, if America is there, there's probably some turmoil probably caused from them. But still, he was back in a place where things were stable. He didn't have to watch his back. He could do all the things and visit all the people and places that he wanted. And I want us to really understand how grateful we should be and how good we have it, right? How good we have it. We're able to get fruit and vegetables out of season. You want a kiwi apple in the winter? You can do it. You want some pumpkin in the spring? You could probably do it. Those are out of season. Our quality of life, having running water, having access to just about anything that we want at the drop of a dime. We can order things from across on the other side of the world, and it be here within days, right? You can't say that for a lot of other places. And so for us to have a bad day, for us to be down on ourselves, for us to think and have a negative disposition about life, only shows our ingratitude, only shows our character flaws, only shows that we're caught up in the illusion, in the delusion of poverty. The delusion and illusion of poverty. The delusion is the fact that we have everything that we need. I was speaking to a friend who is in. I have some friends that are in Palestine right now, and I have some friends that are at the United Nations, in Geneva, and the contrast difference, right, on those states of being. One told me in Geneva, said that you can't even tell that the homeless people are homeless here. The only way that you know that they're homeless, that some of them, is the fact that they walk a little funny because they're drinking alcohol, and it's not just your regular alcohol; it's some expensive alcohol. But the only way that you know that they're homeless is the fact that they're walking around drunk in the morning. But if they weren't doing that, you wouldn't be able to tell by their clothes. You wouldn't be able to tell by their hair. You wouldn't be able to tell by their smell. You wouldn't be able to tell by all these things. And Switzerland has some of the toughest immigration in the world, if I'm not mistaken. So the quality, and the quality of life, this is where the Swiss banks are. This is where the United Nations is. And right now, with everything going on, there's hundreds of delegates out there. And so when I was reading this story about the news, the typewriters going and the rustling and bustling and seeing just how good they had it, Carl Rowan had it. It reminded me of what my friend said about Geneva, about the United Nations, that not even the homeless people there uh, seem to be in a better condition and state than even some of the middle and quote unquote lower class economically people in Memphis and in the United States. And that really struck me to realize again, like I said, that our poverty comes from our comparison. Our poverty comes
Mm.
from comparing where we quote unquote think we should be because we see other people with these things or in those spaces and where we are. So Carl Rowan, he was in what was in, I won't say an unfortunate position, but he was in a what he considered a a position of burden, being deployed as a naval officer, and then coming back to his office, coming back to the security and the normalcy of life. He realized the difference. He realized, man, I actually have opportunity here. And sometimes it takes that. Sometimes it takes you going through something or to something or going away from where you are normally, and then you come back just to realize how good you had it. You go over the other side of the mountain, you think the grass is greener, and you say, no, it's just as green as my grass. And the reason that your grass isn't green is because you're
Mm.
not taking care of it, not mowing it, not watering it. So, and I think I've shared this story on one of our first episodes, that the analogy of a man who was moving from one city to another city, and when he got there, he asked the first person he saw. He said, "Man, I'm moving away. I'm coming, and I'm moving away from the city where I was to here. And how is the city here? How is life here? How are the people here?" And the person, instead of answering the question, asked him and said, "Well, how was the last city that you lived in? How were the people? How did you like it? How was the education?" All the pretty much the same questions in general that he had been asked. And the guy said, "Oh, well, it was horrible. The people were um, mean and off-putting. The economy was bad. There's nothing to do. There's no jobs. There's this, third. The housing sucks. The people at the restaurant don't understand customer service. My neighbors, were annoying." And the guy said, "Well, it's going to be just that. It sounds like it's going to be the same here, right?" And so what that says is that it's not about the place that you're in, it's about the state that you're in. And I'm not talking about Tennessee, Georgia, New York, New Jersey, California. It's about the state of being that you're in. It's about how you perceive yourself in the lens by which you filter what's around you, from the environment to what people say to you, to your experience in life. It's more about you than where you are, right? It's more about that. You can be in economically struggling and still have a wealthy state of, right? You can still have a high quality of life, because quality isn't always determined by quantity. And I think that's where we really mess up, is that we think, okay, because I have uh, we start to, our metric that we use is quantity. How many of this do I have? How many dollars? How many cars? And how much did it cost? Right? Like, I know that Maserati costs a lot of money, but I'm pretty sure that Honda over there will outlast it. Right? I'm sure that if I need to do maintenance on this Honda, and it goes straight from A to B, good AC, nice sound system, leather seats even, but the difference in the perception is, oh, Maserati. But from what I heard, and from people that own Maseratis, them things break like, every other week, and the maintenance is ridiculous. So some of these companies are maintenance companies. They just want to sell you the parts. They make the majority of the money on selling their parts, because some of these parts are so specific just to that company, or just to that car, or just to that device, to where that's their actual business plan. Like Apple, for example, The money that the majority of the money that they make is on the insurance. Trust me, I know. I done broke plenty of phones, right? So, what is the quality of what we're doing? What is the true value of what we have, not the quantity? When we start to compare the quantities, we start to get a false perception of value, right? How much do I have versus, um,
What I have.
yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, what do I have? Like, how much do I have a car? Do I have the ability to go to and fro? Not what kind of car do you have? That's not important. And I think once we get, that's the delusion. That's the, I mean, that's us eating the poison in the cookies, right? It tastes sweet, but it's poisonous to us because now that we have it and we're still not happy, we look for other things and look for other things. So what are we comparing? Are we comparing our state of being from one time to the next, like my mom just did? She said, you know, when my son was in sixth grade, the wind had an impact on me. It God spoke to me in a way through the wind, my mother said, and she was changed from that time. Another person could have felt the same wind and been annoyed, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
like, why is it so windy? I'm trying to talk on the phone and I can't really hear because the wind's blowing in the
Mm.
microphone or in the earpiece, right? So what some people find as an annoyance, other people can see as a blessing and a catalytic moment inside of their life experience. And about that state of being, my mom was comparing her state of being prior to that moment with the wind and to now, right? She wasn't nowhere in there did she say, well, back then I had this much money and now I have this much money.
Mm.
Nowhere in that state did she say, back then I had this type of car and this type of job, and now I have this type of car, these type of cars, this type of job, right? She did it. She's aware of herself. She has the ability to look inward for answers to life's questions, right?
Challenges.
Right? The inward for life's challenges. She know her yes means yes, her no means no, and that's more important to her, and should be to us, than what kind of car she drives, than what kind of house she lives in, and what kind of job she has, but how she compares and stacks up in quantity with the Joneses,
Mm.
right? Whether they be Jimmy Joneses or, or whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's our state of being that has more to do with it than the state that we live in or the place that we live in. And by reading this, I could tell that, but the change in the place does sometimes start that conversation, like the man that went from one city to the next and asked that guy, how's the city here? That change of place, that change of environment sparked an idea, sparked a thought of, how is it going to be here? And it's that question that should make you look inward to life's challenges instead of looking externally, like we talked about the external stressors
Mhm.
yesterday. Instead of looking externally for your guiding light, for where you should go next, for how is this experience going to be, right? You're trying to foresee um, um, your what's going to happen. You know, one thing about fear and faith is they both require you to believe in something that you don't see or that isn't in there, right? So you just have a choice now: faith or fear. Because whatever you fear, you can't see it. Whatever you have faith
Mm.
in, I'm pretty sure you can't see it. So which are you choosing? The determining factor is you, your state of being. Do you have faith or fear? Do you have more fear or more faith? And what end? Right? Because both you can't see, and you had to make a choice to do that. So why not make the choice that serves you and puts you on the path to success? All right. So that's all I got.
Hey, Brandon, and I don't have much more, but you said something about either way, faith or fear, whatever it is, you can't see it, right? That's what the wind was for me that day.
Mm.
Y'all, it reminded me, I felt it. I truly felt the wind. It's kind of, remember how you told us to feel our heart, to touch it, to feel it beating. And that day, I felt God was telling me, asking me that very same questions. Like, okay, this wind here, I was looking around. I knew it was there because I saw the things that it moved, including my hair, the trees, leaves were flying from this wind, but I could not catch it if I tried to.
Mm.
But it was still doing its thing, right? So that was a day that I knew that I had to choose differently internally. And like you said, Brandon, it was about nothing outwardly, nothing. And the journey began. It also says here, he was writing again and he was happy. He was writing
Mm.
again. So the things that was doing before, my perception of this is that it kept him from doing what he loved, which was writing. I'm back home now. I'm doing what I love, is what I sense of this, right? And so also it goes here to say, I feel like it's talking about our blessings in the Pacific through all those lonely months. Rowan had dreamed of returning home and of the blessings and comforts of life in the States. The blessings and comforts of life. How often do we think about that?
Mm.
Reminded of Kitsali, grandbaby, when you put the phone on here, you put the phone on the charger. That's also a clock.
The
And
wireless
she
charger,
stood
yeah.
there, right? She stood there and she looked, stood under her dad, and she said, "So that's a charger and a clock? Oh, cool."
Yeah.
Right? And we think nothing of that until we need it, until we need it. And maybe it's not available to us, right? Her little pure mind and self, oh, that's cool. We think we're privileged to, we are supposed to have it, right? We think, oh, I'm supposed to have that. But boy, when the electricity goes off, or even let's look at COVID. When COVID went off, and you like, oh, I'm married to this person. Who is this? Oh, I live here. What is this? Is this my home? Right. So success has nothing to do, like you talk about the guy who moves to moves to a different state, or anybody who moves to a different state and like, or wants to. How is this going to be? Well, how was it for you where you came from? Because however it was there, what you saw there is what you're going to see here.
Mm.
People talk about Memphis all the time, the crime and all of that. I choose not to focus on that. Yeah, stuff happens. Stuff happens in every city, you guys. If you Google the crime of cities, you will be like, whoa. And we get so fixated on what we hear. I was over with Brandon, well, several times now, a few times now, where he works, and people would call the hood. Y'all, I felt home. I'm so serious. I
Mama,
felt like, man, these are
man,
my people. Didn't feel
Mama, I was
any
telling
kind of
Stokes the
way,
same
not
thing.
threatened, not in danger. Man, I felt like, hey, spoke to everybody. Hey, y'all. They probably said, who is that? Hey, they maybe sitting out on the porch. The other day I came, Brandon, there were people sitting out, and it just reminded me of home.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, we go to work, we come in, we sit, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. So sometimes it takes years for a person to become an overnight success. Are you embracing the years, right? Are
Mom, you
you
know what?
embracing them?
Mom, I wanted to speaking of that, working in North Memphis, uh when you said it, overnight, sometimes it takes years to become an overnight success. I think
Mhm.
about the people that live around that area where we planted those trees years ago, those
Mhm.
nectarines, peaches, pears, and how it's on the corner lot. And so people riding by, they see all those nectarines and peaches on the trees now, right? And people have been living there for years, and they see those trees, but now that they're fruiting, it looks like an overnight success. But we put those trees in there, what,
At least
almost,
10 years ago, Brenda. I think
almost
it's
10
been
years
about
ago.
10 years ago. Y'all, the trees are full. I'm talking about what it's is it pears too? Are those pears?
Yeah, pears, nectarines, and peaches, and
Y'all, the trees, the limbs
planted
are hanging over because it's so many on there. Man, y'all, it's so beautiful. Oh man, so beautiful. And it's not ready, right? They're not ready. I wanted to pick them yesterday and eat them so bad. But that's a good point, Brandon. They were planted 10 years ago,
mhm.
at least
But
10
it
years.
looks like an overnight success.
Yes.
It looks like, oh, they just popped up, and now everybody wants to go get them. So when I was over there working on the other property across the street, trying to build the like a wooden bed around this stone building to like a wraparound bed, I could hear people pulling up and then just stopping there and just looking at the trees and going on and kind of touching one or picking one or two. And I lean out like, hey, they ain't quite ready yet, but I mean, you can take some, but they ain't quite ready. They might be good to make a pie or something, but they're not quite ready just yet. Give them a couple more weeks, and people just love to hear that. They're like, oh, okay,
Oh,
and,
Brandon.
you
So
know,
they just see the fruit, not the fruit of the spirit who planted the seed. Right? You
right,
pull up and
and
you just see the fruit, not
yeah,
the tree.
and I don't care in particular that they know that we planted them.
Right, right.
That doesn't, I want to. I would love to see, you know, everybody come get it. Just I need to get at least a couple. Let me get like five of them out of a couple hundred fruit. Let me get like five of them. Let me eat some peaches too. But it's more there than I mean, it's enough for everybody to me. And I feel like everybody in that community could take something off that tree, and I believe that God will put some more on that tree because of our intentions when we did it. The were for the neighborhood, especially in places where they don't have um, a lot of access to
Yeah,
fresh produce.
yeah,
Now you can walk down the street and it's right there, right? So you ain't always got to plant money trees, right? Because they say money doesn't grow on trees. So you what are you gonna do? Plant some real trees and let's see how we do with that first, right? If we can
yeah.
control our food, that gives us more agency over life, right? Like we're so dependent, y'all. And that's why we gotta be grateful, right? Because at any moment, if you're not grateful and all of this
Um,
stuff leaves, all of this, the rug is pulled from up under you, and you realize, man, I had it good. I mean, imagine this: Western civilization, the United States, in essence, is a buckling empire. The pillars are buckling beneath it. You can see it. They're spending $1 billion in California for a 600-meter railway that doesn't even work well. Over 10 years, $15 billion, and it takes 10 years to build 600 meters of a railway in California. It took 1 year to build the Empire State Building. 1 year to build the Empire State Building. When they rebuilt the after the tower, the twin towers, when they rebuilt it, the nation was galvanized and brought together, right, in order to put something else in that space. And it took years for them to build a less than impressive building, to be honest. A less than impressive building for what I think could have been there. We could have built it back bigger, better, stronger, maybe even, the tallest building in the world. And I'm not advocating for that use of resources for that. But, they could have put offices and and hotels and things in this huge building, but it took us years. I'm talking years on years on years to build that, to build so we can see that our efforts as a country are buckling. That it took years ago a year to build the Empire State Building, and it's taken us all these years plus the maintenance to build these things, right? So we see that things are degrading. So if we better being grateful, independent, and relying on each other as opposed to the systems that seem to oppress us, disenfranchise us, or give us an inequitable outcome, right? Because when the rug is pulled from under us, it is not going to be cool. Because imagine grocery store closed. You don't even know how to grow your own food, but you call yourself a man or a woman. You can't even provide for yourself. You're scared of the dirt. You see a worm and you start running. You don't know that thing can sit there and help you to build a garden for yourself. So I'm not trying to digress, but I want to show you guys we are human beings. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience, but we don't even know how to keep our physical bodies alive, right? We're dependent. And that's how you're easily controlled. So what's the comparison? What's your state of being? What's your state of mind? What's your relationship with nature, with creation? Nature isn't divided from God. God created that. There's a nature about you, right? That God created. There's a nature about that tree, about that fruit, about that garden that is intertwined with your being. And if we don't learn how to depend on God and ourselves, and we continue to depend on the systems of that oppress us in one way or another, that overtax us, then eventually those chickens are going to come home to roost. So, and they already have. And it's like, if you guys don't realize, I don't know if you guys have read or remember the Titanic movie or researched that situation, but it was said from eyewitness accounts on the Titanic that as the ship was going down, remember the Titanic was the one that wasn't supposed to sink, that it was unsinkable. It was unthinkable for it to be sinkable, right? The arrogance, right? Oh, America, it's unthinkable that it could collapse, that our economy could collapse. We have an infinite supply of wealth because we print our own money. We can just print money at any point, right? To settle whatever. That makes our dollars worth less, right? That's why you could buy, a bunch of candy for 50 cents, years ago. But now you go in the gas station with 50 cents, you can't even buy a bag of M&Ms, bro. You know what I mean? So notice what's
Piece of
happening,
bubble gum.
right? Right. Notice what's happening here and start to pull yourself back, become more independent, and realize extra, read all about it. By the time it's in the newspaper, it's too late. By the time the newspapers, if you're buy the rumor and sell the news is what they say in stock in purchasing stock and in investing. By the time it's on the news, you should already been sold it, brother. Right? And so right now, buy the rumor that this whole thing is collapsing. And what are you gonna do? Are you gonna be that comparison to say, man, is it gonna take you to have to go on a naval ship, fight in war, just to come back and say, I really had it good? Or can you value, or will you take stock of the value that you have right now, of the blessings that you have right now? And if you can feed off of that, it'll feed you a lot more than that artificial, crack that they selling at the grocery store. I promise you. All right, and that's all I got, Mama. I don't want to
So
be too long.
Brandon, I'm gonna go back really quick. He was writing again and he was happy. What is it that, or
Mm.
maybe not again, but I was gonna ask, what is it that you need to restart, to start doing again in order for you to be able to see and know that you're already an overnight success. You were born an overnight success, right? And then a person gets to know what he misses when he is away from it. And let's
Mm.
talk about that tree again.
Mm.
We
Mhm.
will we will pass by the tree and not only see it unless there's fruit on it. We will pass by that same tree, and we'll only see the fruit, but we'll pass by that tree again, and the fruit is gone. Then perhaps we will say, then what's wrong with the tree? What's wrong with the tree? What's wrong with me? What's going on with me? My fruit they're not growing. They're not hanging. The limbs are not hanging from the tree. Because when the fruit is not there, then we look perhaps at the tree. But if we pass by and it's just a tree with nothing on it, we don't even notice it. And I've had my encounter with the trees, right? Like it went from the wind, you guys, to the sun, then to the moon. I had my encounter with nature. Let's just say that. And I don't believe there's a way for me, I feel it was necessary for me to understand what becoming an overnight success, the success that we're talking about, that I could not do that without understanding the wind that I could not see. And how do you understand something that you can't even see without understanding the voice of the trees? They're all trees, but they're all so different. But they're trees. The moon, some days, some nights it's full. Some days I see it in the daytime, right? The sun, oh my God, the sun. When I wasn't feeling so well last week, I got out on Sunday in the middle of the sun and cleaned my car because I felt like this. I just felt I need sunlight. And it was medicine. I started to feel instantly better. So you don't need an overnight success. You are a success. Spiritually, purposefully, wonderfully made for such a time as this. Return, come back to yourself, right? As Carl Rowan came back home, he didn't realize how good he had it. So some of the things that are around you, we could do almost anything. Like you can cook a meal in the crock, all this stuff. Yet we still complain. We're always tired. You're not physically tired, you're spiritually tired. And wherever you go, if you try to change houses or states, and if you think the grass is going to be greener, as Brandon talked about, you're going to realize this grass ain't greener. If it is, it's because someone's been taking care of it. And you just drove by and saw the grass, not the person that has been maintaining it. Just like you pass by and see the fruit and not understanding that the fruit would not be there if the tree had not been planted. And you will only see the tree if the fruit is gone. Don't wait till your fruit is gone. Pick at the right time. Like Brandon said, hey, y'all, you can pick them, but they ain't ready. Y'all want things before your time. You want things before you are ready to receive them. You want things for the wrong reasons. So extra, read all about it. What does your article say? What page in this newspaper are you on? Who wrote your article? Did somebody else write it? Did you write it? And what is it titled? What kind of fruit is on your tree? So over to you, Brandon. We'll close out.
Sounds
Oh,
good.
I
Well,
guess
thank y'all so.
I do want to read the comments. We didn't, y'all,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
because I read them after the show yesterday, on my own. So thank you guys. There was some great comments out there. Go How, good morning. I think we said good morning to Brenda and Mike. They're out rocking with us as always. KL is in the house saying hello. Mercedes or taxi cabs in Germany. I think Brandon, he was commenting to what you said. Our auntie Richetta Chet says, good morning, Mrs. Butterfly and nephew. Love y'all, baby. And
Love you
she
too,
says,
sweet.
yeah, we love you too. She says, good morning, family. Hi, I'm enjoying listening with my mom. Oh, Tasha's that Tasha's on with us as well. And then KL says, prayers appreciated. I just got the call. Okay.
Just
I'll
got
give
the
you a
call.
call, KL. Yeah, we'll give you a
Okay.
call and check on you. So that's what we have over here. Anything from Instagram before we close out?
I just want to give a shout out to my boy Carlos at Los_D_King. One of my brothers. He's on the fight team. He's a fellow Muslim, and he's actually from the area, if I'm not mistaken, of where we're doing the work in Memphis. Because when we were describing it, he said, "LOL, home."
home,
you know. So
home.
yeah, that's he actually said. I said my brother, thanks for joining, and he said, "Man, I must join. This is therapeutic." He said, "I
Hmm.
must join. This is
Oh,
therapeutic." And I
Brandon.
told him, I said, bro, reading that alone makes waking up and doing this show every morning worth it. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about, y'all. If it's just him, I would do it all 134 days just to hear my brother say that. So
yeah, yeah. One of
um,
KL's messages yesterday was he really appreciates our dedication to this.
yeah.
And when Brandon, when you said home, do y'all remember Stephanie Mills, that song "Home"? When I think of home, I remember that. Think of a place
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
where
yeah.
there's y'all
Because
sing that
you
today.
used to walk around singing that while you cleaning.
Never flow. Right. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there where y'all play that today when you get off. Stephanie Mills, home.
Oh, you ought to post it
Home.
today, mom. Post it on your page.
I'll post it out there today, y'all. I'll
Yeah.
post it. I'll post it. Somebody need to bring some dessert now. Y'all post it.
Hey, I got a question though. When we gonna have
What?
this real barbecue? Y'all want to have a real barbecue? Can we plan
I
this?
Yeah, yeah. Did y'all plan? Did you get Miss Davis's in our meal plan together last night?
Fell asleep.
You fell asleep? Okay.
Yeah, I actually fell
Okay.
asleep. Mama said, "Don't work on it tonight," and I was actually I got it pulled up on my computer now. I'm looking at
Okay.
60 grams of cooked quinoa, 25 grams of chia seeds. So I have a couple meal plans to make for the fight team. We got some fights coming up this weekend, and got some people that have fights in August. Danny for the UFC, and then Ethan on August 10th. So I'm making meal plans today. I'm going to help cut weight with one of the guys, but I got you. I will work on that. Can I get it to you on Saturday?
That's fine. I don't know if
Okay.
Miss. I know. And when you said cheat. What'd you say?
She,
Are you Miss what?
I was looking at this on my
Chia
computer.
What's the name of the food though?
Chia seeds. I was
Oh,
looking at
chia seed.
quinoa is a carb, and then like chia seeds is like seeds of a chia plant for like
Is
good
that
fats,
for
omega
us?
threes.
You gonna give
This
us that?
no this I mean, yeah, I'm gonna get you if you wanna do the same thing you've been doing.
Is there like a
But
substitute?
that's one,
I'm
mama.
joking. That when he's Miss
That's
Brenda, I
one
don't know
of
if you
like
had the
80
same
different
reaction. I'm like,
choices.
what? Maybe we
No,
asked
that's
the
one of
wrong
like 80
person.
different things. Let me go down the list a little bit.
I'm thinking
Lentils,
like some
cooked beans
blueberry
and
pancakes.
peas. How
Blueberries,
about this? Baked beans, oats, granola, things like that.
baked
Yams,
beans.
sweet potatoes.
Yes,
Okay,
that's
I
what we
got you.
want.
I got you.
Yeah,
I just want
we
you
want
listen.
good.
I want y'all out of your comfort zone though. When we make this,
Okay.
y'all, we about to digress. But I'm making a meal plan for my mother and Miss Brenda out there, and you gotta if you want something different out of your body, out of yourself, out of your physical experience, then you got to
Yeah,
do something different.
yeah.
You got to eat different, right?
Breakfast for us. If you're okay, Miss Brenda, I think I said that to you. Just give us breakfast for right now. I really want to start where I don't want to. We'll talk about
Okay,
this off, but just one meal at a time, breakfast, and then we'll
okay,
take it into lunch. Okay.
sounds good. Well,
All
see,
right.
y'all, we this is a real barbecue because sometimes we stay on topic and sometimes we get off to the other stuff that we doing, and sometimes you at the table and you in the conversation, and sometimes you at the table and you just listening. That's
Ain't no
what family
schedule
do.
at the barbecue. There's no
That's the
schedule.
family. Get in where you fit in.
Hmm.
Hop out when you have doubt. It's all good. But I love y'all so much. We appreciate y'all for joining us for the 134th day of the End This Season podcast. Today's title was Extra Extra. Read all about it when we went through Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro. Make sure that you get that book. If you can see it, mine's a little tattered up from my parrot that's been eating up my book, man. But it's all good. Y'all, please get that book. Follow along with us, not just on the show, but you know how things go with technology. If you miss one, don't miss it in the book. Make sure that you read these and that you go over them throughout the day, that you use that affirmation at the bottom of your screen. So today's title again, Extra Extra, read all about it. And the quote from the distinguished African American indeed came from um, Prince himself, Purple Rain himself, says sometimes it takes years for a person to become an overnight success. And the affirmation that we read 3 times, one time for me, one time for you, and one time for the person that you're going to bring a plate of food from the barbecue, is sometimes it, no, no, I'm sorry. It's that my success is built on the ability to do better than good. My success is built on the ability to do better than good. Make sure you do something that you're passionate about, like writing, like playing, your piano, your saxophone, drawing, whatever it is that you're talented at, that you're passionate about. Go play some chess, go hang out with your boys, with your homegirls, and have some good, meaningful conversations. Something that feels you, not just your pockets, but feels you, right? And so for the last time, my success is built on the ability to do better than good. You might be doing good, but if you do better about yourself, you can do great. You know what I mean? If you do better to yourself, you can do great. If you be more grateful, great, you'll be great. You see what I'm saying? You can't be great without being grateful. Full of greatness is being grateful, right? If it's really great, because if you can have a million things in the world, and if you ain't grateful for it, you won't feel it. It won't make a difference in your life. You won't notice how blessed that you are. So start by counting your blessings, and you'll never get to counting your detractions. You'll never get to counting your challenges, because there's just too many blessings to enumerate. You'll be here all day. All right. So that's all we got for you today, guys. We'll be here tomorrow, same time, same place. Make sure you go to YouTube, type in This Season podcast. You can see it up there on your screen. That top left-hand corner, In This Season, the letter In This Season podcast. Subscribe, share, turn on notifications, and like this video. Make sure you like this video. That's very important for the algorithm. And we'll see y'all tomorrow, 7 a.m. Make sure you're here. Love you. Peace.
Peace. Y'all be great. Read all
Great.
about it.